Did you know? Just one wrong line in a bob cut can make your entire face look tired, heavy older by a whole decade. It sounds dramatic, but it's the truth. And yet, no one really talks about it. Because the bob, the haircut most women over 50 turn to for its safe and timeless appeal, can also be the very thing that subtly drags you down, if it's not done right. You may have chosen a bob thinking, it's neat, simple, not too fussy. You may have seen a photo of a sophisticated woman with a sharp, elegant bob and thought, that's it. That's the look for me. But then, days after the salon visit, you find yourself staring into the mirror, quietly wondering, why do I look more tired? It wasn't a wrong choice. It wasn't your stylist's fault either. The real issue? There are subtle, almost invisible mistakes in bob cutting techniques for women over 50 mistakes that pull your face downward, shorten your neck, and strip away the softness that once defined your features. The good news is, with a few small but intentional adjustments, that bob can still honor your face and bring you back into the light with grace and presence. So let's start with the most common mistake, the one-length bob. The one that seems safe, but can actually sink your entire look into shadow. 1. The one-length bob. When simplicity makes you disappear. You've heard it before. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And in many areas of life, that's true. But on your hair, particularly a bob, after 50 too much simplicity, can flatten not just your hair, but your entire energy. A one-length bob with no layers, no movement, no give seems tidy and easy to maintain. But here's what it actually does. It builds a hard frame around your face. And as your face starts to change, maybe a bit of softening around the jawline, a few lines near the mouth, that harsh frame doesn't soften those features. It magnifies them. The hair stays flat. The face looks heavier. It's as if your whole expression is being pulled downward by the weight of your own hairstyle. Instead of elevating your depth, your calm, your lived-in beauty, this cut reflects only gravity. But the problem isn't the bob. It's how the bob is cut. Salons often default to the one-length style because it's quick. It's low skill. It's predictable. But what they don't tell you is that same simplicity can age your face without mercy. A blunt cut may look sleek on a tight-skinned 25-year-old, but on a face that's matured with time, that solid wall of hair no longer lifts. It presses. So no, you don't have to give up the bob. You just have to let it breathe again. Imagine gently lifting a handful of your hair off your shoulders and it moves. Not from styling mousse. Not from a curling iron. But from something inside the cut itself. That's what internal layering does. Soft, hidden layers that act like invisible scaffolding, giving your hair space to lift, float, sway in the air, respond to light, wind, and your mood. You still get the classic bob shape, but without the helmet effect. Next comes beveling, a gentle inward curve at the ends of your hair, tracing the natural line of your cheekbones. No sharp bend, no heavy curl. Just a subtle arc like your hair is quietly embracing your face. It doesn't showcase your age. It spotlights your elegance. And, finally, a delicate face framing layer, starting right at the cheekbone. Not too short, not too long. Just enough for the light to hit your eyes. Just enough for someone to really see you. So the next time you look in the mirror, you won't see hair that hides your face. You'll see hair that reveals you, invites attention rather than blocking it. That's the difference between hair that just sits there and hair that lives. Hair that doesn't shout with edgy cuts or trendy lines, but hair that whispers, I'm still here. I still feel beautiful. I still have something to say. And while the one-length bob can press your features down, the next mistake pulls every glance straight down your neck, making you want to turn away from the mirror completely. 2. The reverse bob. When your hair draws eyes exactly where you don't want them. Have you ever walked into a salon with a photo of that sharp, edgy reverse bob and thought, I want to look that fierce too? And then, a few weeks later, you catch your reflection and realize the only sharp thing left is where people's eyes go, straight to the exact area you were hoping to soften, your neck, the nape, and that delicate skin that time has gently loosened. The reverse bob, where the back is longer than the front, was once a bold symbol of modern sophistication. But for women over 50, it can unintentionally become a visual reminder of time. Have you noticed? When the longest part of your hair sits low at the nape, it creates a slope that naturally draws the eye downward. And if your neck is an area you've grown more protective of, an area that has changed with grace, but also with age, this cut does the exact opposite of camouflage. It points directly at it. Now, the reverse bob itself isn't the villain. It's simply miscast. On round, square, or heart-shaped faces, that visual weight at the base of the neck throws off your proportions. It shortens the frame. It collapses the elegance of your silhouette. And more than that, it shortens something deeper, your confidence. Here's the saddest part. At first, the reverse bob feels like a transformation, different, edgy, new. But over time, that difference becomes a discomfort. The angle no longer sits right. The head shape feels unbalanced. And the haircut that once made a bold statement now feels like a dated decision that quietly whispers, "It doesn't fit anymore." This is your pivotal moment. The one where you pause and ask yourself, is this haircut lifting me up or silently pulling me down every single day? And if you feel that slope pulling you lower, don't worry, you don't need to abandon the bob. You just need to redirect it. Picture the shape again. But this time, instead of letting the longest point fall at the nape, shift it gently forward, just enough to follow the angle of your jawline. Not to hide anything, but to resculpt your face. As the hair lengthens toward the chin, it builds a soft, upward frame that guides the eye upward from your neck to your cheekbones, from your jaw to your eyes. It feels as if your hair is gently lifting the light back onto your face instead of casting a shadow over it. And the secret? Start that angle just behind the ear, not the middle of the back. It creates a more natural slope. The shape becomes less forced, less costume-like, and begins to flow in harmony with your actual features. Like your haircut is no longer trying to recreate your youth, but rather highlight the elegance that age has gracefully carved into you. When the reverse becomes reversed, you don't lose your edge. You simply choose a version of bold that lifts you, not one that drags you down. And if the reverse bob pulls the gaze downward, then the next cut, with its harsh diagonal angle, might just split your face into two disconnected pieces, as if your features no longer belong to the same person. 3. The dramatic angled bob. When your hair tries harder than you do. Maybe you once thought, if I keep the front longer, it'll cover the wrinkles. If I create a steep angle, maybe it'll elongate my face, make everything feel slimmer, more lifted. So you tried it. Once, and then again. But have you ever felt the longer you drag the front pieces down, the more your whole face followed, as if your own haircut was quietly pulling down the very features you wished would rise back up? The dramatic angled bob with its sharp, defined slant was once a modern icon. But as our faces evolve, as jawlines soften and expression lines deepen, that same precision becomes a burden. The back is cut sharply short, often exposing the neck. The front? It stretches down, sometimes past the chin, even to the collarbone. One side cups the cheek. The other sways with every step. The result? It doesn't frame your face. It splits it. Suddenly, your reflection no longer feels like a unified self, but like two sides unsure of where they belong. You don't look edgy. You look unsettled. Because when your hair no longer moves with your emotions, but instead swings with mechanical weight, every motion feels forced. And this is a cut that demands precision, maintenance, upkeep. Miss a trim or two, and it's a roll when say rakis. The clean lines collapse, and you're back to square one. Then, one quiet day, you stop and ask yourself, what exactly am I trying to prove here? Am I doing this for the mirror or for a feeling that doesn't even exist anymore? That's your turning point. Because maybe what you need right now isn't sharpness. It's soft, not angles, but harmony. So instead of pulling the front down below the chin, let it hover where your light lives, right at the jaw, just below the cheekbone. Just enough to gently outline your face without weighing down the jawline. More importantly, shift the angle's starting point. Not from the center of your nape, where it feels abrupt and aggressive. Start from just behind the ear, where the slope can fall naturally, like a soft smile instead of a strict rule. Add a touch of layering near the cheeks, not to hide but to release, as if you're letting go of the need to cover up or hold yourself together too tightly. Your hair stops being a mask. It becomes an extension of you, not a tool to fight aging, but a quiet partner in embracing it. And in that moment, people no longer stare because your hairstyle is interesting. They pause because you radiate something else entirely, something lighter, grounded, at peace. You don't need more length to make a statement. You just need a gentle lift enough to remind yourself, every time you step outside, I still rise. Because if sharp diagonal cuts have left you feeling unbalanced, then the next bob while meant to feel clean and neat might just leave you with no head shape at all. A cut that claims to tidy up the back, but ends up exposing the very thing that should have been supported. 4. The High Nape Bob. When neat and clean steals your sense of self, there's a quiet fear most women over 50 carry, but rarely speak out loud. The back of the head starting to flatten. The volume disappears. The shape you once had seems to slip away, like your hair is gently falling off you. And at the salon, stylists often reach for one fast solution. Let's clean up the nape. Cut it high. Make it sharp. They believe a lifted nape will lengthen your neck, elevate your profile, and bring elegance into your silhouette. But here's the truth, it's not that simple. When the nape, that tender curve at the base of your head, is cut too high, even past the occipital bone, balance is broken. That gentle roundness at the back disappears. Your hair no longer hugs your head, and the remaining front still holding weight and length now looks like a heavy curtain pressing against a frame too narrow to support it. You pass by the mirror and something feels off. Your neck looks shorter. The back of your head seems squared off. You can't quite describe it, but the profile no longer feels like you. The reason? You're seeing two separate haircuts stitched together in conflict. Have you ever asked yourself, why does the more I cut the back up, the less natural my head shape feels? Because the nape was never meant to be chopped. It was meant to curve, to flow, to follow the shape of your neck like silk draping gently behind you. But a clean high nape interrupts that. It replaces grace with a break. It slices the transition. No more slope, no more softness. Just a stark divide between where your head ends and your hairstyle begins. And if your hair is on the finer side, this becomes even more visible. Every snip exposes what was meant to be supported. Each step you take feels like the back of your neck is bare, not light. But you don't need to give up on neatness. You just need a version that lifts you rather than strips you down. Let the nape breathe and follow the natural dip of your skull. Don't push the cut up too far. Let it finish just below the occipital bone where the head and neck meet in the softest place. Then comes the layering, but not in big chunks. Use fine, delicate layers stacked gently, like ripples on water. Not high waves, but soft curves that know how to hold you. Now when you turn sideways, instead of seeing a harsh break, you'll see one continuous curve. A line that feels like breath. A silhouette that mirrors your walk when you no longer have anything to prove. No more square heads. No more heavy neck. Just a quiet, fluid movement between every part of the hairstyle, like every chapter of your life. Post 50. Not chopped away, but chosen with awareness. And finally, we arrive at one last mistake. One so common, many think it's just simple and chic. But this cut, more than any other, has a way of boxing in your entire face, pulling it downward, and stealing the airiness your hair so deeply deserves. 5. Flat front, layered back. When your face disappears behind your own hair. Have you ever finished blow-drying your hair? Looked in the mirror? And noticed the back is full of volume light, lifted, moving with life. But the front just sits there. The back breathes. It sways as you walk, but the front feels like a solid, block-heavy dent still, as if all that weight is pressing down on your cheeks, your chin, even your eyes. It feels like a curtain has dropped across your face. Not for shade, not for mystery. Just a thick, invisible veil, hiding not just your features, but the quiet confidence that once lit up a room without you ever having to say a word. That happens when your haircut has movement only in the back, but leaves the front untouched. It's a small mistake with a massive effect. Because when the back is layered, lifted, full of energy, but the front is left flat and heavy, that imbalance becomes a weight you carry on your face. Every time you lean forward, the hair spills into your eyes. Every time you smile, the hair hides your expression. And every time you want your face to feel seen, you're met with shadows. No light reaches you, because your hair has blocked it out. You try wearing it down, but now your face looks fuller, wider. The sides seem puffed by the weight pressing in. Your chin looks heavier. And your eyes, those beautiful, expressive eyes, feel like they've been dimmed under the heaviness of hair that no one ever thought to set free. Instead of feeling refreshed after a wash, you feel lower, duller, less visible. This is the kind of bob that looks neat from the back, but quietly erases you from the front. But everything can change. With just one shift, face framing layers. No bangs needed. No curls, no drama. Just a single soft layer starting at the cheekbone and drifting gently down to the chin, as if your own hair is reaching forward to draw back the curtain, to uncover your features, to reintroduce you just as you are, wise, soft, and still entirely magnetic. Face framing layers aren't just a technique. They're a way to return the light to your face. So when you walk into a room, people don't just see a shape from behind. They see your eyes open, lifted, awake, framed by strands that know how to step aside. And let your presence shine through. And to bring it all together, add a touch of internal layering. These are the hidden layers tucked within. You don't see them, but you feel them. They give your entire haircut movement. Even when there's no wind, even when you're still, just breathing, just walking, and your hair dances with you. Now, you don't have to choose between structured and natural. You get both. Because your haircut finally works with you, not against you. It doesn't hide you, it lifts you. You've now walked through 5 common mistakes, but more importantly, you've walked through 5 ways to return to yourself. Not the self from 30 years ago, but the one who has lived, refined, softened, yet still radiates strength and clarity. Because a bob doesn't need to be sharp. It doesn't need to follow trends. And it certainly doesn't need to be complicated. It just needs to be right. For you. That's enough. If at any point during this video you thought, yes, that's me, leave a comment below. We read every single one because you are not invisible. Sometimes all it takes is the right haircut, and the world sees you again, clearly, brightly, beautifully. And if this video helped you in any way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So the next time you open YouTube, you'll be reminded beauty doesn't disappear. It just waits to be seen the right way. Elizabeth Gilbert.